It's not, I don't know. Things just aren't thought out, man. Fuck! There's nothing else to play. I want to play something. I want to have fun.
Gaming is dead, air quotes. You'll see this quote or this sort of particular phrasing mentioned somewhere, whether in a random comment section. I'm pretty sure you've seen people say this 9 million times already, whether it's in video essays on YouTube, signifying how the current generation is the worst gaming generation you could ever imagine. And it's a lot of things to say when people start to illustrate in a broader scope that gaming is dead, that this hobby, this genre that someone was so fond of, now it is dead to them, deceased, put in the ground 6 feet under. And I find it fascinating that someone can get to that point of sort of despair with gaming and how they feel about it. And it is a variety of emotions going on when someone illustrates this for the first time. Overall, I think where it comes from is a place of dissatisfaction. Maybe the person is tired of seeing modern conventions and modern tropes in gaming stuffed to the brim with microtransactions, DLC, and maybe they just want to run it back to the good old days. That I can understand as point number one. I love classic games. I love the PS2 era. I loved it when they just did a killing with PS2, Xbox, and GameCube. That was one of the more interesting eras of gaming where everyone was firing on all cylinders. And of course, naturally, you want every company to be up to par. You want every company to be up to snuff. You want every company to be good so you can go out there and like bask in the glory of gaming from all three retailers, right? So I can understand some dismay when a company is a little bit behind at times on what you want and what they are delivering. Secondly, this also comes from a place of boredom. Granted, I mean, as a gamer, sometimes you do question things and you tell developers and you tell people in general, or you have some response, something that elicits an emotion from inside of you where you exclaim, "What have you done for me lately?" When there's this dry period of gaming, people will exclaim that gaming is dead. And I think you're just bored. I think this is just boredom kicking in. You want the next conference. You hunger about the next reveal like everybody else, but you're frustrated that you have to wait. You're frustrated that it takes time to show something and present it. And I'm just like, for that answer alone, I'm like, okay, do you want them to show a JPEG like they did with Metroid Prime 4 and you have to wait like 4 years later? I'd rather them reveal things closer to release. That way it's like, okay, give me the release date, give me the game, give me the gameplay trailer, and when it's all said and done and when it's ready, I will be there to support it if it caters to my interest. I don't want something to look like a piece of shit. I want the actual game to be closer to release as opposed to these like long year-long things where they announce the game and it's not ready yet. I like that they're doing that now, where it's like we realize, oh fucking shit, you know, we don't want people to wait like 3 or 4 years. Let's just wait it out and let's develop the game behind the scenes in the shadows, and when these conferences roll around, sure, we'll talk about it. I understand that stuff like E3 is dead, so it's dead in that regard, like, but the summer we're gonna get news. We're gonna get news next week. We're gonna get news about the Xbox conference in June. I know people are kind of dissatisfied with Xbox right now, but we're gonna get that. We're gonna get some stuff with PlayStation. Just give it time. You need patience, and I know you got a backlog of stuff to play, so there's no way you're saying that gaming is dead. That being said, gaming is dead is a very broad generalization in my opinion. It's equivalent to being, you know, it's gonna be weird for me to say this really, but walk with me, talk with me here. It's equivalent to a relationship where you love your significant other with all of your heart and you want to give everything that you got, and you're excited towards what you're getting back, whether she's giving back like a lot of sex, or whether she's giving back like a lot of love and care and worship. It's something that a man truly likes. Whenever the streams are disconnecting and opposites tend to attract and opposites tend to drift apart, that's when you start to realize and see that you love this one thing at one point, and now at another point, after a few years, after some time, after some maturity, you realize that the thing you loved is different. It's a no-brainer when the cogs start turning and someone starts to say that gaming is dead. It clearly is a statement where you're not being catered to, or at least you feel that way. You feel like, hey, some of the shit out here is not really appealing to me. I'm gonna go back and play retro games because that's my niche. And you can find your niche anywhere within gaming. You can find it anywhere without this broad statement that gaming is dead in the first place. I know you feel emotional. You feel emotional to express yourself because you don't like the current practices and current business models and current games out there on the market. Someone can make that case and they can vocalize that and they can make themselves heard. I have no problem with people illustrating this, but it is a fallacy when people say gaming is dead and there's a lot of games to play out there, a lot of content, even a lot of good games are still coming out. A few great games came out just last year. Resident Evil 4, Dead Space Remake, fucking Baldur's Gate caused a splash in the community and a lot of people were into it. It wasn't for me, but it was for them. I think the issue with this statement when people go on a tear and they claim gaming is dead, again, some people don't like change. They don't like the change. They preferred what happened in the past. And I have to agree and admit, in the PS2 era, they were firing on all cylinders. It was like a machine gun just going off. It was crazy. It didn't really matter what your background was, whether you loved PlayStation, Xbox, or Nintendo. In that generation where the GameCube came out and the PS2 came out and the Xbox, the original Xbox, hit the store waves, it was unprecedented. You were getting back-to-back, wall-to-wall, quality first-party and third-party games, and it was astronomical. It's so many great games from that era, and I understand people that want the output and the quality at the same time. But as gaming evolved, as more people started to take it more seriously, as this medium got more popular, even more than your typical Hollywood movie. That's how popular games are, like bigger than movies, live action, IPs, everything. We hit an era where it was at its peak very successful. And with that high art, with that creativity, comes money. Money, the root of all evil, right? The thing that makes publishers go absolutely batshit fucking insane with their ideas and with their standards and how things have to sell. It is very, very hard, especially in the AAA space, to coordinate a game for like 5 to 9 years where people are like sitting on their hands and knees praying for news and information and saying, I don't know if this thing is ever gonna come out. I have to wait. I need something to fill my palate in the meantime. I understand the frustration there. I'm not gonna lie. I wish I could have games as fast as it was in the PS2 era, but the reality is it's never gonna be that way, and I have to accept it because now shit just takes time to make, and I rather them take time to stay in the lab, let them cook, make that motherfucking stove sparkle to my liking and to my needs and what I feel is worth the value of a current AAA project. I do think when people say gaming is dead, they only look at one avenue, which is AAA. I saw Dr. Disrespect complain about, oh, there's nothing else to play. I can't get into anything else, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, this dude only plays like first-person shooters. That's all he plays. Mostly, I think it was COD or whatever the fuck back then, but all you played was AAA first-person shooters. I'm not really sure if his skill points in the Fallout Pip-Boy has a lack of self-awareness. Maybe the self-awareness meter is about, I want to say, into the negatives, the negative 100s, right? Dr. Disrespect, you have to understand that for someone like yourself, in order to have some sort of variety, some taste in your diet, you have to stop eating the same thing over and over again. It's like insanity. Insanity is doing the same fucking thing over and over again, expecting shit to change. If you're gonna eat the same burger, it's not gonna hit as much as the first time you ate it. Like with a side order of fries or something, the ketchup was slamming. You eat that burger, you're happy. Second time, you might feel a little bit of the same euphoria. Third time is probably not gonna be the third charm. You know, you start to get a little bit sick of it. Fourth time, you're tired at this point. You keep eating the same thing over and over again, you're not going to continuously like it, and you're gonna get tired of it eventually. That's how humans work and operate sometimes. We need to spice up the variety in your life, lighten up your life, and get some new games in there, whether you play not just only AAA, but AA, indies, different genres, like RPGs, fighting games. You could try survival horror. That's one of my favorite franchises of all time, just being absolutely scared at survival horror games. Racing, sports games, you could try action adventure, open world. It's so much. Stealth games, like go back to the stealth genre. I know it's not a lot of present stealth games out there, like Metal Gear Solid is ding dong, the bitch is dead, but you can go back and witness and relive, because past, present, or future, gaming will always exist no matter where we go or what we do. And there's a whole wide variety of stuff to try out, stuff to experience, experimentations, you know, finding your niche, doing something weird for once, and going outside of your realm is what makes gaming great. So that's another knock, that's another slight against those folks who say gaming is dead, there's nothing else to play. You're just neglecting it inside. You're neglecting variety, and that's not a good thing at all, in my personal opinion. There's even the Wild Wild West logic of doomers, where they want a secondary crash to happen and implode gaming as we know it, due to the reverse happening, where gaming wasn't popular all back in the day. No one was buying video games. This time people are buying video games, but now we have overinflated budgets this time around, and I think this is mostly going to be mitigated if they do decide to implement some AI tactics in there in the future, some procedurally generated AI moves where they can cost cut, they can save money, and they can instill some trust from maybe some of the publishers, giving them a second chance, opportunity to work on things. Where there's a will, there's a way. And I think it's harder to say a second crash will happen, because once again, the first crash happened due to gaming not being popular. This time around, gaming is making so much money, so much revenue. Other people are coming in, new faces in the indie scene. It's crazy. There's always opportunity in the land of gaming, which is why it's hard to say, oh, it's going to be a secondary crash. I just don't see it currently. What can you do to improve these things, and how can you talk and improve and make this efficient? I think my final conclusion is that gaming just isn't dead, and you have to accept it. No matter how much you fall out of love with gaming, gaming isn't dying. What's happening is you're just growing up. You're not the kid that you used to be. You're not the teen that you used to be. You're probably not even the young adult that you used to be. You might be becoming more cynical, jaded. Your perspectives might change a little bit, but it's not the same as it used to be. And the way you're seeing it, where you're thinking that, oh, well, I'm entitled to this era or that era. Like I said, change happens all around us. Past, present, or future, gaming is always going to exist. And the fun thing about past, present, or future is that there's always something for everybody, no matter where they look, no matter what they do. It's always something there just waiting to be picked up and played. And I think the coolest thing about gaming is when something is passed down, that word of mouth still exists, you still feel giddy, and you can instill that into someone else. And that's important. Having that memory just be prevalent, and knowing that you caused it, knowing that other people caused it for you and gave you good memories from gaming, that will never go away. No one will ever take that away from you. Gaming isn't dying. You're just growing up, and that's absolutely fine. Cherish it, savor it, and pass it down to the next generation. I am Renegade Operative. I am signing out. Did I really say a solid Snake quote from Metal Gear Solid 2? You take your genes, you take your memes, and you pass it on to the next generation. Fuck yeah, baby. Kojima for life, you know. No, never mind. Like, Kojima's awesome, but still. I think that it's just important to have as much fun as possible, and embrace what you can, and embrace what you need, what appeals to your niche the most within video games. Gaming's not dying. Stop saying that. All right, just stop saying it. It's a misnomer at this point. Anyway, I'm signing out, and these are my true thoughts on the whole topic. Tell me what you think when you see the phrase "gaming is dying, dead, worst generations," when a generation is not over. I think that could also be said as well, like, oh well, this is the worst generation ever, we're not getting the same thing. It's like, dude, I don't think that Sony or Xbox is truly over yet. It's not over till the fat lady sings. And if that's the case, we might as well just wait and see how things pan out before we make preconceived notions. Like, until we get to the end of the generation, I think that's when we're gonna see it. And in fairness, the PS3 wasn't so hot when it first released. Like, when the PS3 first released and came out, it didn't pick up fire until 2009. 2009 through 2013 was the golden years for the PS3, and that was the back half. Maybe during the back half of the PS5 and Series X and S, we'll see something truly magnificent. But until the gen is over, I really don't have much to say on it. I want to give it a fair shake and wait until these games come out. Anyway, I'm Renegade Operative. I'm signing out. Hopefully you liked the video, and let me know what you think below on the fact, is gaming dead to you or not? See you guys next time. Have a pleasant and wonderful night, and as always, be good people. Laters. P.S. I'm gonna put this little bit at the end of the video. I know someone's gonna say, well, Renegade, I am an indie supporter. I support indie games, and AAA is killing the industry, and I mostly direct all of my ire to that. I don't make any vast generalizations otherwise, and I personally disagree with you in terms of getting rid of AAA games. I think that all sorts of genres stand the test of time, and they can make great games in their own genre, whether it's like super budgeted to high hell or not, right? I think you can make a great AAA game. I think you can make a great indie game. I think you can make a great AA game. And I don't want a certain part of the genre to cease to exist. Obviously, I want them to get better. Things can always be better if you really think about it. Like, anything can be better if you really think about it. However, that being said, I think eliminating what you want for mainstream AAA IPs would just not work. I mean, who would ever even ponder the idea of getting rid of something like Resident Evil at this point? When something is really good and stays good and it is consistent, I think fans want more of that. They want more of that because it is an example of striving forward as opposed to striving backward. So I'm just letting you know that now. Like, and I've seen people say this about indies where it's like they don't care too much about them. A PlayStation showcase will have indies only, and I swear some guy on Twitter or some idiot or someone will go, oh, where is the AAA games at? This conference is trash. I don't strive for creativity whatsoever. 0 out of 10. You're gonna see those people as well. You're gonna see them out there, and it will happen. And I think you need all sorts of creativity in order to strive for it with gaming. So there should be people doing things on less budgets and being successful, and the imitators will show because of that. We shouldn't get rid of things, we should just add on and improve, and that's kind of how things should work. How can we move forward in the industry, and how can we move forward with the things that we like? They should only get better over time and improved and enhanced, and they should find ways to fix things up to make the future easier, just in case we have this little discussion and really think about it. We got a long way to go, especially not due in part to the whole layoff problem caused by the industry. Let's pray to fucking God that dies down. Holy shit. And I feel so sorry for these people and these game developers, and I hope they find better, suitable homes, alternatives that really fit their niche, their style, and their passion for making games. That's a problem we gotta fix. At the same time, there's plenty to look forward to despite all that on release games. Summer Games Fest, Xbox is having their own conference. There's these dry periods that's gonna be filled with gaming talk all of the time. Releases to look forward to at the back half of the year, 2025. GTA 6 is coming out, and it's gonna take the world by storm. Monster Hunter Wilds, those experiences with your friends are everlasting, and I believe that there's no way I'm gonna take any of it for granted. I want to live and breathe the immersion, and if I can do that, there's a lot to appreciate when it comes to video games in general. I know this kind of bleeds into gaming isn't fun anymore either, and I'm just like, gaming is on such a great scale of like ingenuity and new things being done and new paths being taken, and also older paths and remakes emerging now in terms of like popularity due to the Resident Evil remakes and everything. And they're taking that and they're making it into a great fundamental level. Like, I'm sorry to say, when you say gaming isn't fun anymore, I think I enjoy suplexing people with Leon with a new fresh coat of paint. I enjoy playing shit like these new experiences on Xbox Series S where I have unlimited potential of playing newer titles on Game Pass. Gaming isn't fun anymore. Huh? Okay. You can find fun games to play. No wonder they're still getting highly rated, because guess what? People find these games to be fun and enjoyable, and if it wasn't, well, it wouldn't be getting rave reviews or word of mouth or spread around or talked about the way that they are. I just think that you believe that gaming isn't fun because it's not, once again, I said this so many times in the video, it's not catering to what you believe is within your boundaries or interests. You have to experiment. You have to actually put your hands on the stick and play and find something fundamental to you. Otherwise, well, it's as Carlito said in Carlito's Way.
You lost, motherfucker. I'm gonna get somebody.
Déjame explicar.